and joining me from parts unknown. She is a good enough mother, journalist extraordinaire, author, all of the things. Rene Syler is here. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm good. I was just sitting here thinking about how much I enjoy spending this time with you and the team because you guys always have the most interesting nuggets from around the universe, the internet. And so I was just sitting here thinking, I can't wait to see what kind of pops off today.
Well,
I mean, I
interesting.
get
Yes.
I get briefed on, kind of the guests and whatnot, but it's like the stuff that nobody planned for. That's what
That
I like.
is true. This show is relatively unscripted, and today I was live with Mary Trump. She has a podcast that she does on Tuesdays, I think, with her nerd group, and I realized that people are having a conversation that most people are not having, meaning that the quote unquote media, the talking heads, the podcasters, they're having this kind of like circle jerk conversation about what they think, what they're interested in. And I was like, most of us don't care about Biden's papers. Now, I could be wrong. Yeah. So I'm going to put the phone number out, 866-801-8255. Are you aware of the documents that were found with Biden in the White House? And do you care? And I also don't think people care about all of the stuff Trump stole from the White House. Now, we know it's fundamentally wrong. He's corrupt. He's criminal. He's evil. He's all of the things. But I don't think most people care enough to be, to do something. Otherwise, he would be in jail. If there was like a widespread public outrage over a sitting president fomenting an insurrection, he would be in jail right now for that. But I just feel like we're like,
I mean, I sort of feel like the issue, I know we're all tiring a bit of Merrick Garland and his the pace at which he is operating. But I also believe that this is a very unique time that we're in. And I think that he's trying to be super cautious and make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted because, this is an unprecedented path that we're going down. So if we do go down it, he has to make sure that this is right because he's writing the first draft of history with regard to this. So that's kind of how I feel about that. I do, with regard to Trump, feel like it is a pattern that we're seeing. And it's that kind of, I don't know. I guess the thing for me is that it's not just this one thing, it's one more thing and one more thing. And that this is just the way this has gone about. And then there's a part of me that feels like, well, if Barack Obama had done any of this, please, let's not act like, people wouldn't be.
Renee, he got in trouble. He got in trouble for wearing a tan suit.
I was just going to say he wore a tan suit and he was married to the same woman for so many years and he had 2 babies by the same woman. We know. And I think, Karen, every single one of us who has been the first or the only knows what that is. There is no room for error because you're carrying the weight of everybody and future choices on your shoulders. We know that. So, that's just kind of my thinking.
No, I mean, so as I'm sitting there, I'm like, we all know right and wrong. We do. We learn it as even children. Children know when something ain't right. They know when they're not right. We know it inherently. And yes, Merrick Garland's pace, and you're right. If he strikes, he better not miss because he won't have another shot at it. We celebrated Martin Luther King yesterday, and he said the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. When I was thinking about, as I was preparing for the show yesterday, I was like, does that stand true? the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends, do we have a moral universe? Is there morality that would bend towards justice in this world? I'm also reading this book, The Coming, by Dr. Daniel Black. And last night we had an amazing session, 2 hours with him in office hours in Nubia. He's going to be on the show next Monday. As I'm reading this book, which chronicles the transatlantic slave trade in great detail. It's written as a novel. And it's written with poetic metric and musical. I mean, it's just the drumbeat of terror and horror and destruction of humanity. And that went on for 400-500 years in the world. And the world was complicit. The world was complicit, right? So it's like this was, and to this day, you and I, and those of you who are listening with melanin, suffer under a system that was created during that 500-year period to maintain a power structure that we have to fight through every day. So those of us who are the first of anything, it's in spite of, not because of, because the system is designed to keep us in a space to serve the folk that, anyway, so I'm just like, is there a moral universe? Is there a place in the universe?
I guess my question to you, Karen, would be like, maybe the arc is longer than the years of our individual lives, which seems wholly unfair, really, because there's a part of us, I think, as humans, where we're just like, we want to see people get theirs. We want to see people get theirs, especially when the evil has been so horrific and the injustice so terminal, really. And I think that the only comfort I take in that is that maybe, just maybe, it happens after my life or after my kid's life. We don't know what the time limit is on that, or what the, how that's measured. But yeah, I feel you on that.
To your point, Dr. Black was saying, in his book, it's called The Coming, The Coming, The Coming. So there's this like kind of message. And yesterday I was also talking with with Ben Jealous, and his book was, we were always free. And there's this message delivered generation to generation of people in bondage that don't forget we were always free, even though none of them had tasted freedom. But they wanted to carry that message forward. And then it finally landed where somebody was free. That was 400 years, right? So to your point, yeah, I guess we live in a microwave society. We expect things instantly to happen, including justice or injustices to be, rectified in real time. But yeah, and I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. None of us has the patience. I'm talking for myself. I don't have the patience to wait. I need it to happen. Like I need, just for the children coming up, they need to see you do bad things. Yeah. This is the consequence. So don't do bad things. That's always kind of been the message, right? Or is it just for those of us that they want to keep? So then here's what happens, right? Because when you start to internalize that and say, doing right is only for people like me and you, so that we can stay in line. But the cops can taser somebody who's on the ground in handcuffs and kill them, and then beat somebody who's looking for help while they, and shoot a 12-year-old. And they could do all of these things, and a handful of them get, prosecuted, but not all of them. So there's no incentive to stop doing it, right? There's no consequence for it, but you and I can't do it. Yeah, we can't even wear tan suits if we're in positions of power, right? So then there's this next generation that says, well, F it. What's the point of doing good and right? It only applies to certain people. So I'm not following anybody's rules.